at least know how to manage a project or manage what you are working on as a systems analyst. And that's why we are going to study this. Please, can you all hear me though?
Yes, madam.
Oh, all right. So by the end of today, we should be able to know or explain what project planning is all about, scheduling, monitoring, controlling, and reporting. We should be able to manage taxes, summarize the five key elements of people management, communication management, and the issues that comes with it. We would also look at the importance of technology management and systems projects. And we'll look at some concerns in financial management as well as the risk that comes with managing a project. But before we proceed, I want us to share our personal experiences as to whether we've managed a
What
project
you are supposed to
before
do. Ah,
and how it is like. Who is that? So we want to know if anybody has actually managed a project before. It could be as simple as organizing your family's New
okay.
Year dinner or something. Let's know how you managed it, what went into managing it, and how it went. Yes, anybody? Daniela, your microphone is on. Do you want to say something? Shall we do no?
Yes, please, I want to say something.
Okay.
Um, to manage a project, you need some steps. You have to draw, no, you have to know the project, you have to have a plan, how to organize it, monitor and how to control the project, and how you complete the project too.
Yeah, so we are telling you to share with us something you managed, a project you managed. Anybody else? Hey, we've all never managed anything before. Are you sure?
Right answer.
Abel, your hand is up.
Yes, madam.
Yes, talk to us.
Write a published book.
Oh, okay. So how was it like? What went into managing it?
So the project was we have to publish 1,000 books. So the first of all we have to get the materials, the papers, how to get the papers. So the cost of the papers, then the cost of the plates that we use in printing. It was offset
Mm.
printing. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that was the first part. Then the second part was the purchasing of the papers and how to get the plate ready. Then the third part was to get people to print it, get offset the papers to print the books. Then the final part was to get another people to do the finishing, the cutting, the binding, and so on.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Abel. Edwin, Jantua, your mic is on. Do you want to say something? KB, your mic is on. Okay, Dennis, your hand is up.
Okay. Mine was a CCTV installation
Oh, okay.
at a site around Akuti Junction in the central region.
Mm.
So I I had to get people to. I went to survey the place first and to see where I will install the cameras. It's a roofing sheet factory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I went to survey the place and then I noted down the materials I will need for the installation. And then I I came to town and then I bought the materials. So I
Mm.
sent some people to lay cables and all that. So later I went there myself to now configure the cameras and then the DVRs.
Okay.
Then I think I assigned some people to fix the cameras for me, and then I did the configuration.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you very much.
welcome.
Sophia.
Thank you, madam, for the opportunity. I had the chance to plan a colleague's birthday,
Oh, okay.
and I had I learned some few things doing that. Though that was not my first time, but that
Mm.
one was special because that was the first time I had to plan a birthday that contains more than 50 people coming to the birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Then I should be thinking of you as my planner coming next month.
and
Okay.
I have to deal with the most difficult thing I had to deal with it was multitasking, like
Mm,
planning how to determine the type of drinks for the birthday, the type of people that are coming to the birthday, picking up a DJ and all that. And it was really a heavy tax,
I see.
where exactly to choose for the birthday because the friend allowed me to take in charge all those activities. She didn't play any. She
Oh,
just gave me a clue of what she expect. So I
mm,
had to go around, pick a venue, pick the drinks for the party and all that. And it was really, really a tough task. So I had some experience there, how to handle even the people that are coming to the birthday,
I
how
mean,
and all that. Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Thank you very much. Nikwe, your hand is up again. Why, Nikwe? Dennis, you already spoke. Okay. Ebenezer Kabute.
All right, thank you. Mine has to do with managing a project of setting up a new base station to provide internet service at a particular area.
Oh,
So the
okay.
first stage is to examine the area that's doing survey. You go to the area and do a survey to,
Beneza, please, we can't hear you well.
okay. All right, so I'm saying that mine has to do with setting up a new base station for internet service, providing internet service for a particular area. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So you have to do a survey to gather information about what materials you need. Then once you get the information, then you now draw the project lineup where you contact the logistics management, what they are to provide, and a timeline. Yeah, you also draft the financial involvement, that's what amount of money you need. You also contact the financial department to also provide that amount of money. Then the project will be outlined as to which stage you have to go first. If the logistics need this, you have to go to account. The date at which they can provide the information to you, or they can provide the money for you to buy the things. Once you acquire all the things you needed, then you contact the technical field, the field department, and also outline where when they are going to implement their side of installations. Then after that, then you think of launching the project, for the project to start working, or let's say the base station to start working. Then you set a date. Once everything is completed, you examine all equipment are working, then you launch the program. Thank you.
You are very welcome. So one way or the other, we've all kind of managed a project before, even including our own dinner. our own lunch and breakfast. We've managed that before, so we know what it means to manage a project. And even talking about management itself, you know how to manage your own pocket monies and stuff like that. So it's not much of a big, deal or kind of challenging to know why we have to be able to learn about project management as systems analysts. So basically, project management has to do with planning, scheduling, monitoring, and controlling and reporting on information system development. And a project manager will break the project into tasks. You determine the order the tasks must be performed and then determine how long each task will take. Okay, successful projects must be completed on time. That's what makes your project successful. It has to be completed on time. It should be within a specific budget. And then you have to deliver quality products that satisfies your user as well. And Microsoft Project is a popular project management tool that can help create and monitor the project plan, report progress, and then use risk management to make the process easier. Okay. Every project is controlled by three main factors, and this is often called the project triangle. So when you look at the project triangle, you can see fast, cheap, good, and then we have another triangle that has cost, scope, and time. So let's name the first one as figure 3.1 and then the second as figure 3.2. When you read the caption for figure 3.1, it says you can't get everything you want. You must make choices. You can't get everything here. Fast, good, cheap. You have to make a choice. And then when you look at figure 3.2, it says a typical project triangle includes cost, time, and then scope. Let's start with fast, good, and cheap. If you were to pick any two for a particular project, so let's say GCT wants to enhance their system. Okay, they want us to build a system, or they already have an LMS, but now they want a system with students login, lecturer login, a system where they can upload results, and then the system can automatically calculate your GPA and generate your transcripts at the same time. And they want it completed in 3 months, and they are offering us let's say 100,000 Ghana cedis to do this project. What tool do you pick so far as this project is concerned? Fast, cheap, good. Which tool will you pick? Please, do we get the question?
Madam, please come again.
So GCT is offering us 100,000 to build a system where students can log in, lecturers can log in, the system can have our results uploaded to it. It can calculate our GPAs automatically, and then it can generate our transcripts as well. And they want us to complete it in 3 months. What do we do? Do you think we'll be able to do it quickly? Will it be good? Do you think the money they're offering us is cheap? What do you think? Just looking at the whole thing. Okay, Amoako, April.
Yeah, madam, please, I want to ask a question. Please, the two figures, is it about how the project will go, or I don't understand the two triangles, please.
So before we came here, I mentioned that the project management has to do with planning, scheduling, monitoring, and controlling and reporting on an information systems, right? And then the project manager breaks down the project into tasks, determine the order the tasks must be performed, and determine how long each task will take. But to ensure the project is successful or completed on time, we have to consider certain things. We either have to consider the time, cost, and scope for that particular project, or as to making choices with regards to how fast it will be completed, how good it will come out, and how cheap it is. So in the example I gave, I said GT is offering us with 100,000 and they want us to build a system for them. And this 100,000, they gave it to us to complete the system in 3 months. And I'm asking, do you think we could complete the system in 3 months? Do you think the money is enough? And with the amount they are offering, do you think it will come out as a quality system? Such worth, yeah.
Thank you once again. I think with the system we are supposed to come up with, this is, to me, to my understanding, this is a system that even after coming up with it in advanced days, you're going to probably improve on it. So even coming up with that system within that 3 months doesn't mean that you are totally done, because going into the future, you'll still be called upon to to probably improve on the system, because this is a system that students are going to be using. So they will use it, give feedback, and then you probably use their feedback to improve on the system.
On the
So,
system.
yes. So 3 months is okay to come up with a system like that, because we will take feedback and improve it later on.
Later on. Thank you
Yes.
very much. Now, from Setrafia, we know that it's okay, right? What if now they add 5 more features to the system they want us to build and they want it in 1 month instead of 3 months? Yes, anybody? Now they no longer want it in 3 months. On top of that, they are adding extra features.
Hello, madam.
What about extra money? Are they adding extra money?
Good. So this is where the triangle comes to play. So we'd either have to choose two from this, either good or fast. And if you want it fast, probably it may not come out as good, right? So you have to choose which two would work. The reason being that you can't get all the three working together for you. Not at any point. You can't have it good and cheap. Please, do you get what I'm trying to say? You can't get the system ready and it will be good and cheap at the same time within the period of 1 month after adding 5 extra more features. Okay, so every systems project needs some sort of leadership and then coordination to do these things and do them very well. Now, a project manager, Setrafia, your hand is still up. Do you want to say something?
Yes, please, madam. When you were explaining, you said you can't have the three together. That means if it is good and it can be cheap, but it can be fast at the same time, or is it that
Good.
specifically you cannot have good and cheap going together? Or if you have good and cheap, then it cannot be fast. And if you have fast and good, it cannot be cheap. Is that how it works?
Good. So basically, that's how it works, but it depends on the project. So with the example I set in the beginning, we had 3 months to build that system, right? Then all of a sudden, they said, we no longer want it in 3 months. We want it in 1 month. And they are adding 5 extra features. So what do you think would happen? They want it fast, and they've already offered us 100,000. Do you think it will be cheap whilst they are adding extra 5 features? So do you get the idea?
Yes, yes, yes.
Elvis, your hand is up.
Madam, please, I wanted to say, so with your scenario, here, the period has been reduced. So the system will either be fast and cheap, but it cannot be as good as it would be if the period is 3 months.
Obviously.
Yes. And then secondly, I wanted to ask,
Yeah.
could there be a situation where, let's say, you've been given a project to work on, but then
Mhm.
the money, the cost, and then the duration is very favorable that you can achieve both all three how do you call it?
At the same
Yes,
time,
all three at the same time.
mostly it doesn't happen like that, but all projects are not the same.
Okay. So it
So
means there's
chances
a
are,
possibility.
yes, there's a possibility.
No, right,
You've
sure.
done probabilities, right? You've done computational math or discrete structures. Have you done that?
Yes, please.
So you know there's a possibility and a probability
That
always and
all
at
three
all
could happen.
times.
All right.
Yes, but
Okay.
it doesn't cut across for all projects.
No, right, sure. Thank you.
Any other?
Hello, madam.
Yes, justice.
Yes, madam. Yes, so please, I want to know if a system like that, which is being worked on for a period of 1 month, I think for every system, you wouldn't be able to complete all the or enhance the system with all the features that they are requesting for. So most of the time, if we are to develop those systems, it will at least you have to produce a system that meets an MVP level or minimum viable product, which is containing all the essential features that would be able to make the system work. So in this case, if we are going by the 1 month, I think you can still achieve the same good, cheap, and fast whilst you improve on those systems later as you move on.
Okay, probably. Reason being that they didn't tell you to build a system, observe it, and then improve on it later. They want their system ready in 1 month. So it's like you dealing with a customer. If the customer says, "This is what I want," then you tell the customer, "Okay, I can do an initial one for you." And then after the initial one is done, would, try and enhance it. Do you think the customer would appreciate that? So it's not about the project, it's the kind of project you are building and the kind of person you are dealing with, or people you are, or enterprise or firm you are dealing with. That's why I mentioned that all projects are not the same. And I also mentioned that there are probabilities. But in the event you want something to come out good, you need me to take my time. You need me to, work on it carefully so that at the end of the day, it will be good. Please, do
Very
you
well.
get?
Yes, madam.
Okay. All right. So let's move on. We are looking at, who is that? David Akwefio, either one. Monywede. All right. So a project manager or project leader usually is a senior systems analyst or an IT department manager. And most large projects have a project coordinator who handles administrative responsibilities for the team. Project managers typically perform the following activities. They are to plan the project. And when it comes to planning, we are talking about deciding what tasks must be done, what resources are needed, and how the project will proceed in general. You're looking at scheduling or scheduling, depending on where you are coming from. Basically, setting deadlines and, timelines for a particular project. And for most of the projects, for instance, let's use the one we gave the birthday example. You are planning a birthday party, but definitely there should be a timeline for the decor. There will be a timeline for those who bring in the food. There will be a timeline for, so the project scheduling is important to know the deadlines you need to beat, okay, as fast as possible. to ensure that your project is completed within a specific time. And then when it comes to monitoring, you want to track the projects. You want to track the progress of the projects because, mind you, as a systems analyst, you're not working in vacuum, right? You're working with supervisors and top level managers and stuff like that. So you would also be reporting to them. And that is why you have to monitor what's going on and all. Then you also have to report to them. You provide them with updates and stuff like that. Now, if a project has no project manager, what problems might occur? Definitely, there will be poor planning. You may not be able to set proper deadlines. And even if you do, nobody will be there to enforce it. Monitoring will become some kind of way. And then who would also be there to update, the managers and stuff like that. Okay. So in order to get your work done well or properly as a systems analyst, you need what we call task management. Task management involves creating a work breakdown structure, which is WBS, modeling task patterns, and then identifying critical path. So basically, the work breakdown structure simply means or answers or ask questions like what tasks must be done. We want to organize a birthday. What task must be done? I have to get a dress. I have to get a photo shoot. I have to get a makeup artist. I have to get somebody bringing food, drinks, decor, and all of that. So what are the tasks that must be done? If you know the tasks that must be done, then you can actually break them down in a certain structure. Okay. That's what it implies. Then when it comes to the critical path in project management, it is the longest sequence of tasks that must be completed on time. Okay, the longest sequence of tasks that must be completed on time. So if any task on the critical path is delayed, that means the whole project will be delayed, right? So let's say we have a project like we have A, B, C, and D. Please forgive my writing. I'm not using my mouse. Can we see though?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's say this is the longest sequence of tasks we have to accomplish. We have to accomplish task A, B, C, D. The critical path is telling us that this is the longest sequence of tasks that must be completed on time. If something happens and B becomes late, it affects what? The entire project. If something happens and C becomes late, or A becomes late, or D becomes late, it affects the entire project. So what the critical path wants us to know is, as much as possible, the longest sequence of tasks we have, when we add all the timelines together, what will be the exact time the project can be completed? We'll talk more about that in our subsequent slides. We'll look at that critically. All right. So like I already said, the work breakdown structure involves breaking a project down into a series of smaller tasks. And we can use two charts to do this. We have the NAT chart and the PET chart. The NAT charts simplify a complex project by combining several activities into a task group that contains subsidiary tasks. And then the PET is a bottom-up technique because it analyzes a large complex project as a series of individual tasks. I think we'll look at an example in the subsequent slides. Okay, so let's look at the critical path. The critical path is the longest sequence of dependent activities in the project network diagram that determines the shortest possible time in which the entire project can be completed. Now, please take note of these characteristics, okay? First, it is the longest duration path through the project. The longest duration path through the project. Tasks on this part cannot be delayed without delaying the whole project. That's the thing. The second thing to note is that tasks on this critical path cannot be delayed without delaying the whole project. And then these tasks have zero slack or float. Slack is a period of wait. Okay, so there's no waiting time on these critical paths. So let's look at an example. Please, any question before we proceed? Okay. So, critical path example, developing a small student registration system. You can see the tasks A, B, C, and D, and in the description of the task and the duration of the task. So task A is that during the development of the student registration system, we have to gather requirements, and that will take us 2 days. That's the duration. Then task B would have to design the system. That will take us 3 days. Task 3, we have to develop the system. It will take us 4 days. And then task 4 is that we test the system, which will take us 2 days. So to know the critical path, we have to calculate the total project duration along this path. So when you calculate the total duration, what will you get?
11 days.
Good, 11 days. Do we have a different answer? Do you have a different answer?
No, please.
Okay, so the duration for completion of the project is 11 days, which makes our critical path as A to B to C and to D. So that's basically our critical path. And why is that our critical path? All the tasks depend on the previous one. All the tasks depend on the previous one. And there's only one path in the project work. Okay, like the network here, there's only one path in the project network. That means any delay will delay the project. So for instance, where's my pointer? So for instance, if designing a system, which is task B, takes 4 days instead of 3, that means our total duration would no longer be 11. It would be 12 days. Okay. We'll look at other examples soon, but basically that's what critical path is all about. All right.
Hello, madam.
Sechofia, your hand is up.
Please, can you go back to this slide? So if I get this correctly, it is a project manager that comes out with how to schedule the days and what to do within those days.
Of course.
So I can plan a day and probably gathering requirement, I can say for 2 days. That is approximation. Like I'm just giving an estimate. Or these days are fixed, or it's just an estimate.
Okay, so please, I want us to always remember this. No project is the same. For you to be able to sit down and schedule a particular duration for an activity means you are an expert in that field. Now, let's take the motorway they are extending into consideration or as an example. When they go for bidding for these projects, they give timelines, durations, right? We'll complete this road by 2028 or 2027. Within this 2-year period, they are able to know that, okay, from January 2026 to maybe July 2025, we'll be able to clear everybody on the path, I mean, along the road. From another time to another period, we'll do this. Those are the task descriptions you are given and the duration for each task description. So it's not necessarily possible that you can only give an approximation or a maybe for all projects. Please, do you get it?
Yes, please.
Have I answered your question or there's
Yes,
still
yes,
some
yes.
question?
As with the fact that all projects are not the same, there could be projects that you have to give a correct duration, and that there are some that are flexible that you can give an approximation or an estimate.
Good. Now again, we'd also have to consider uncertainties that comes with projects. So in the event, okay, we planned that we'll finish building the road in December, and there's a heavy flood from October to November. That means everything we have scheduled to do within those times would have to be suspended or may not may not happen. Do you get? So a lot of things goes on when it comes to projects. That's why I said we'll be looking at all these things. When I started, we went through what we'll be looking at. We looked at the elements of people management in terms of the project you are doing. I said we'd look at tax management, communication management, we'd look at risk. Okay, we'll be looking at all these things today. In fact, finances too. Please, do you get it? Any other question? Any other?
Hello, madam.
Yes, Elvis.
Yeah, so with the table you just displayed, please can you go back?
Okay.
Yes. So could there be a circumstance that, let's say, with system design, right,
Mm-hmm.
we are supposed to use 3 days, but it happens that our personnel are too good such that we used 2 days for the system design.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that the project is going to be completed before the fixed date. Does it
Mm-hmm.
happen that way, or it is always that if it is 3 days, we are supposed to use 3 days?
No, not at all. Depending on the project you are working on. It's not always like that.
Okay.
It's not always like that. Now, the reason for this table is specifically for us to determine the critical path. And we are saying that the critical path is the longest duration that the project would be finished or completed. Okay.
All right.
So basically, that's what we are looking at with this particular table. All right. We also have a NAT chart. I don't know if you can see properly. I'm trying to zoom. We have the tax name. Oh, no. Okay. So we have the tax name, tax 1, tax 2, tax 3, 4, and 5. We have the duration from Sunday, February 25th to Sunday, March 4th. Sunday, March 11th is somewhere here. 18th is here. 25th, 1st April is around here. And we have the bars or the yellow bars within the blue. And we have the blue arrows too coming through from here. So this is basically a NAT chart. Okay, I hope you can notice the yellow bars in there. So on the left pane, like I described, we have task, the task name, and then the various tasks. And then when you look at the right pane, it shows the corresponding tax duration. So tax 1, I think it's up to here. So Sunday, 4th March, that's the duration. And then we see the blue arrows pointing to different bars representing what? Different tax. Now you can see that the yellow here is highlighting a smaller segment within the bar. I don't know if when I zoom it, I'm not able to use the pointer, that's why. Okay, so the yellow arrow here is likely representing a dependency, maybe a delay or a slack. So basically, if you download a NAT chart and you want to enter your tax and keep updating it on the duration each tax would happen or be finished or completed, this is how a representation of that looks like. Okay, this is another example of a NAT chart. So the top shows the NAT charts with 6 tax. I don't know why this thing. So tax 1, tax 2, tax 3, tax 4, tax 5, tax 6. So it shows 6 tax. And then at the bottom, we have the PET chart on the bottom of the screen. Okay, so this is basically a project management workflow. And it has the NAT chart on the top and then the network diagram or the PET chart on the bottom. Okay, and you can see that each tax is represented as a box, right? With connecting arrows indicating the dependencies. So when you look at the network diagram here, you can see that tax 1, we have tax 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you can see tax 2 is depending on tax 1, right? Tax 3 is depending on tax 2, right? Tax 4 is depending on tax 2. Okay, so it's just telling us the dependencies in this particular task. Okay, so basically, if you download a NAT chart or a PET, this is how it represents whatever you are inputting in there. Okay, so identifying tasks in a work breakdown structure. A task or activity is any work with a beginning and end that requires company resources. Every project has events or milestones, which is recognizable reference points that can be used to monitor progress. So it's significant because it helps you track what's progress. And it usually marks the start or completion of a task. That's what the event or milestone is all about. Then task duration can be hours, days, or week. Okay. So example, if the task is to design a database, then when it's completed or our event becomes database design completed, that will be our milestone. Okay. That's basically what it does. And then a person day represents the work that one person can complete in one day. These are things you have to keep in mind. Now, from this image, what would you say are the tasks and events and why? What are the tasks and events and why are they the tasks and events? The answer is actually there. So, yes. Yes, anybody?
Okay, madam. So from the chart, you can see that one of the events, so like the first event is to start work on questionnaires, and then the task is to prepare the questionnaires.
Okay, so basically, our task is to prepare a questionnaire for students of GCTU to fill. The moment we are done with that particular event or milestone, our event or milestone becomes we are already done with the questionnaire or we've started work on the questionnaire or the questionnaires in progress. That becomes our milestone. And we can see another task, distribute questionnaire. But then our event is questionnaire approved. That means we are done with that, right? Or all questionnaires have been distributed. And if our task is await return of questionnaires, and we have all questionnaires returned, that becomes our milestone. If our task is tabulate questionnaires responses, and the tabulation is completed, that becomes the event or milestone, basically. So that's what event and milestone is all about. Okay, so factors that affect task duration include the following. So with the questions we asked earlier, these are some of the factors that can affect the duration of what your project. Project size, okay, human resources, experience with similar projects. So in the event you have experience with similar projects and your overall duration is probably to finish in 20 days, chances are you would finish in 15 days, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Then we have constraints. I set an example, probably you wanted to finish the road construction in December, but something happened. Then that becomes a constraint. So a lot of things affect the general duration of the projects we work on.
Hello, madam.
Yes.
Please, you just made mention of constraints. I wanted to ask, so if you are drawing a critical path, right, do we consider constraints too and then fix them when allocating days for specific tasks?
That's a good question. So the constraints have nothing to do with the critical part. Reason being that before you set the duration, you don't foresee the constraints that will come up. Please, do you get it? You
Okay.
just do your analysis based on probabilities. Okay, today we are going to go to the market and prepare banku with palm nut soup. The duration, maybe we woke up from bed at 9 a.m. So our duration for all the taxes we'll be doing today would probably end at 3 p.m. From 9 to 10, we'd do cleaning. So that should be a duration of 2 hours. From 11 to 12, would eat breakfast. That's 1 hour duration. From 12 to 1, we'll go to the market. That's another 2 hours duration. Then from that to 3, we should be done with our palm nut soup. These are your durations calculated, right? So if I'm calculating my critical path from 9 to 3 p.m., I just add up everything and then how many hours do I get? That becomes my critical path. In the events, I delay cleaning from 9 to 10 and it ends at 11. Does it affect the critical path? Yes. In the event, my total critical path for the earlier arrangements from 9 to 3, what should be the number of hours from 9 to 3? About
6
6
hours.
hours. Sorry?
6 hours.
Good. So 6 hours. But then our cleaning elapsed from 9 to 11, making it 3 hours instead of 2. Would it affect the critical path? Yes, but are we considering the constraints within the critical path? No,
No.
because I've already drawn my timetable. Please, do you get it? So in the event there's a constraint, that is when you go back to your drawing board and then make adjustments. Please, do you get the whole idea?
Yes, please.
Any other question, please?
Madam,
Yes,
hello. Please, the constraint, could it come from the top and management?
it could come from anywhere. Anywhere at all. Look, factors that affect task. project size, human resources, experience with similar projects, constraints. It's not specific. It could come from anywhere. What if the chief, how do we call it,
My
foreman or mason building your house, sorry to say, gets involved in an accident? What if the project is being sponsored? Initially, at the beginning of the class, we said we're going to build a system for GCTU and they are giving us 100,000. What if management says, no, we can't afford 100,000. Now we would afford 20,000. And before management sits down to agree on something, there are lots of back and forths, meetings here and there. What if it's also a constraint that ends up delaying the project? So constraints can come across in different formats, types, and sizes.
okay. Thank you.
Any other question? All right then. So task in a WBS, or work breakdown structure must be arranged in a logical sequence called a task pattern. And that's what we use our PET or CPM charts for. Okay, CPM is the critical path method. And then the PET is the program evaluation and review technique. These project tasks are shown as rectangular boxes arranged in the sequence they must be performed. A project is based on a pattern of tasks that can be broken down into 3 basic types of patterns. We have dependent task, multiple successor task, and multiple predecessor task. Okay, so when planning a project, tasks often follow the dependent tax. That means tax B cannot start until tax A finishes. That means tax B is dependent on what? Tax A. Then we also have multiple successor tax. One tax must finish before several others can start. So it could be that, let me see, pen. So it could be that we have A, we have B, C, and D. All these are, hey, my D is very funny. Oh my God. So all these are tax, right? Tax A, tax B, tax C, tax D. This becomes a multiple successor tax if right after A, all these other tax can start. Okay, that becomes a multiple successor tax. So tax A must finish before all these other tasks can start. But if it is just a dependent tax and we have C, D, E, that means if C does not finish, D cannot start. And if D does not finish, E can also not start. That makes E dependent on D and D dependent on C. That makes it a dependent tax. Then we also have multiple predecessor tasks, where a task cannot start until several other tasks are actually, completed, or other previous tasks are completed. So think of that as a map, okay, of the project, showing what comes first, what follows, and how the tasks rely on each other. That's basically what the pattern describes. Okay, so let's look at an example. So as I described earlier, 2 is dependent, tax 2 is dependent on tax 1. So until tax 1 finishes, 2 doesn't continue. And then we have dependent tax or multiple successor tax. Tax 2 is dependent on tax 1. So once tax 1 finishes, 2 can start. Now, unless 2 finishes, 3 and 4 cannot start. And even if 4 finishes, 5 and 6 cannot start because 5 and 6 is dependent on what? Tax 3. That's the multiple successor tax. And then the dependent tax, multiple successor tax, and multiple predecessor tax is like this. I don't know if you can see properly. Okay, so 2 is dependent on 1. this becomes what? A multiple successor task. They are all dependent on 2. Once 2 is done, they are able to finish or continue or start. Now, when 3 finishes, 5 and 6 can start. But the moment 4 is done, task 8 can actually start off. Okay, that's what the multiple predecessor tax is all about. Okay. So we've already looked at the critical path, which we said is a series of tasks that, if delayed, would affect the completion date of the overall project. If any task on the critical path falls behind schedule, the entire project will be delayed. So we also have slack time. Okay. Slack time is the amount of time that the task could be late without pushing back the completion dates of the entire project. Please don't be confused, because we'll work on a couple of examples so we see how it would be like. Okay. All right. So looking at this particular diagram here, what will be the critical path? First off, what will be the project duration? What will be the project duration?
$100.
Sorry?
100.
100? Who said 100? Let me see. Who said 100?
Elvis.
100 hours.
Benjamin, you said 100.
Mm.
I see.
Yes, 100 hours.
I see. Any other, Robert?
And it's 90.
90.
Yeah.
95.
It's 100.
Who said 95?
Search off here.
Okay. And who said 100?
Elvis.
100
Oh,
hours.
Say
100 hours.
okay. Somebody said
Yes.
90. Who said 90?
Robert.
Robert. I can't see Robert here. Who said 90, please?
Robert.
Benjamin Arthur.
Robert who said 90.
Robert. Oh, okay.
I said 100.
All right. So each of you would explain to us how you arrived at your duration. Yes. Let's start with Elvis. You said 100.
So, madam, when we take obtaining authorization, we have duration of 10.
Okay.
Then we have high analyst, 30. So that makes it 40.
Okay.
Then plan training and arrange logistics, 25 and 5. That is 30. So it makes it 70. Announce
Okay.
training, 30, 100.
Okay. Interesting. Yes. Any other? Okay, so that's Elvis's
Madam,
defense.
95.
well, when I take it from this direction, at the end of it, announce training, that is a multi-predecessor task, because we can get to the announcing training using the top direction, and we can also get there using the down one. So after obtaining authorization, we can move to higher analysis. When that is complete, you see that we move to plan training, or we can still move to arrange logistics. So
Oh,
either part, when we hire analysis, we can go to arrange logistics, or we go to planning a plan training, and you can pass this through part. Then you can go to the last part, which is announce training. So it can be 95, or it can be, if I calculate, it can be 75. Is that you pass the plan training and then get to announce training, or you arrange logistics and then you get to announce training.
Interesting. So you said it could either be what, 95 or
95 or 75.
oh, okay. And Robert, you said 90. Could you please tell us why it's 90?
So I made a mistake. While checking, I realized that you get 100 rather 100 duration.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll come back to this, the project duration. But what do you think will be the critical path?
And the second task, which is a high analyst.
That will be the critical path.
Yes.
Okay. So let's name our taxes and we'll come back to that. So this is tax one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I want us to go back to this and see the critical path here so that we don't confuse ourselves. Good. Now, what is the critical path here?
C.
Is A to D.
So the critical path is A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
Because we said the critical path is what? The total project duration. Is that not it? The critical path is the longest sequence of dependent activities in a project network diagram. That determines the shortest possible time in which the entire project can be completed. I want you to screenshot or take a picture of this and the characteristics, and then we'll go back to that particular work. Are we done?
Yes, please.
Good. So we said please, I want you to pay attention. A critical path is the longest sequence of dependent activities in a project network diagram that determines the shortest possible time in which the entire project can be completed. The characteristics are, it is the longest duration path through the project. Tasks on this path cannot be delayed without delaying the whole project. And these tasks have zero slack or floats. Okay. Now, what do you think will be the critical path?
$75.
Okay, who said
Hello, madam.
75?
75.
Hello.
I didn't say duration, I said critical path.
Hello, madam.
1 to
Yes,
5.
we
So one, two,
Oh,
4, 5.
1, 2, 5.
okay. Now I'm getting interesting
Madam,
answers. 1, 2, 4, 5.
5.
Okay. Yes,
Madam,
any other?
1, 2, 3, 5.
1, 2, 3, 5. Any other?
1, 2, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
What? Mm.
Any other? All right. So who said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Madam, me.
Emmanuel. Emmanuel Dacon.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Why is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Initially, you gave an example using A, B, C, D, so I followed that trend.
Interesting. Okay. How about 1, 2, 3, 5? Who said 1, 2, 3, 5?
Please, I said 1, 2, 3, 5.
1, 2, 3, 5. Yes. So why is it 1, 2, 3, 5?
I listened to you and you said something that this is the longest duration uh, that cannot be delayed. The longest duration part that cannot be delayed. And you also said something that the shortest part. You made something that you made mention of the shortest part. So when I look at this from 1 to 2,
Shortest possible time, not
or your
shortest part.
shortest possible time. So when I look at this from 1 to 2, that is 40 minutes. Then to 3, that is 45 minutes. To the last one, that is 75. Compared to passing like using the 1, 2, 4, 5, which will be 95. So I think comparing the 75 and
Okay.
95,
Oh,
75 is the shortest duration.
oh, okay. Okay. And who said 1, 2, 4, 5?
Madam, me, Elvis.
Okay, so why 1, 2, 4, 5?
Okay, so I just realized because when you use the characteristics, he said it is the longest duration part through the project. So when you look
Mm-hmm.
at the longest duration part through the project, it is 1, 2, 4. But when we take the shortest possible time to complete the project, then we would say 1, 2, 3, 5.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's clarify
Madam,
something.
3
The
and 4.
longest, sorry.
Oh, I just want to contribute before that. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Let's hear what you said.
Okay, so task 3 and task 4, they can happen concurrently.
Yes.
So, but that means the time for task 3 can be factored into task 4. So that means task 4, when task 3 is happening, task 4 can also happen. But
Mm-hmm.
task 3 will be completed before task 4.
That's 4. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the critical path will now be task 1, 2, and then 4, because task 3 will be completed. Meanwhile, task 4
Within,
is still running, and then to finish before task 5 will happen.
okay. That very interesting submissions. So let's look at our answer here. So our critical path is 1, 2, 4, and 5. Now I want us to take a minute to soak it in before I start explaining. So we basically know the activities for each tax, right? So for the first tax, we are obtaining authorization. Sorry, is somebody saying something?
Madam, please continue.
Okay. So we can see the activities against every tax, right? And we've already looked at the dependent tax, the multi-predecessor, and the rest. Okay. And we've defined critical path as the longest sequence of dependent activities in a project network diagram that determines the shortest possible time in which the entire project can be completed, not some, the entire project. So we are looking at the longest sequence of dependent activities in a particular project network diagram. And this longest sequence of dependent activities must determine the shortest possible time in which the entire project can be completed. And that's how come we have 1, 2, 4, 5. But when you look carefully, you see that there are two parts, right? So the first part would be obtain authorization. One, let me name them again so that, no, this will not name them. Okay. So our first part will be one, obtain authorization, hire analysts, plan training, and then announce training. But don't forget that 5 is dependent on this and this, both of them. It's not dependent on only plan training or arrange logistics. So that will be the first part, and that will give us the 75 days or hours or minutes, right? And then the second part would be obtain authorization, hire analysts, arrange logistics, because we are going to find the planned training duration within arrange logistics as this extends further, right? And then finally, announce training. Okay, so therefore our critical path is 1, 2, 4, and 5. Now we also looked at slack time. What then will be the slack time for this project?
Right.
What will be the slack time?
20.
Why 20?
Around the difference between the planning, the plan training, and then the
The
arrange
arranged logistic, basically. So that will give us our slack time, because we said the slack time is what? The amount of time that the task could be late without pushing back the completion date of the entire project. We'll look at another example. Okay. So let's find the critical path for this. You can choose to draw it out in a diagram form, however you think you would understand it better. Yes, so let's give ourselves 5 minutes, or it's even too much. Let's give ourselves 3 minutes to determine the critical path. Should we solve it together or somebody's done? Dorcas, your microphone is on. Dorcas. Okay. Anybody?
1, 2, 4, 5.
1, 2, 4, 5. Is that Dorcas? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Dorcas. Any other?
Madam, 1, 2, 4, 5.
1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. Any other? Do you
So
have a
it's not Dorcas,
different?
Evelyn.
Sorry,
It's Evelyn, it's not Dorcas.
it's not Dorcas. Please, can you come again?
I said it's not Dorcas, it's Evelyn.
Evelyn. Oh, okay. You
Yes.
said 1, 2, 4, 5. Oh, okay. Any other, please?
1, 3, 4, 5.
1, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. Any other?
1, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Okay. Let's see if we can fix the problem and see which answer is correct. So you are going to see a very strange drawing, but take it like that. So this is tax 1, right? And the duration is 5 days. Then we have to move to tax 3. But we can see that the predecessor of tax 2. The predecessor of tax 2 is tax 1. So tax 2 cannot start unless 1 is completed. So let's say this is tax 2. Then tax 3. Tax 3 is also dependent on 1. Can we see that?
Yes.
The predecessor is 1. So tax 3 can also not finish. Hey, this is my drawing. I have to get my mouse. Okay. So tax 3 can also not finish or start unless tax 1 is done. So this is tax 3. Then we have tax 4. Tax 4 is what's dependent on tax 2. So the moment tax 2 is done, we can start with tax 4 in it. Okay. And then tax 5. Tax 5 is dependent on what? Tax 3 and tax 4. Agbitel, your hand is up.
I wanted to ask the question. Please, is the idea based on a Hessian diagram?
The Hayton.
Diagram.
The Hayton diagram can also do that.
Oh,
But the idea is not based on that. Critical path was not developed by Hayton.
okay, no, you are using the same approach. That's why. That's how we do the Hessian. That's almost.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, that the critical path was not developed by Hayton. But it's the same, it uses the same strategy or process also.
Okay.
Okay. So with tax 1, the duration is 5 days. Tax 2's duration is 3. Tax 3's duration is 4. Tax 4's duration is 2. And then tax 5's duration is 1. So for those who said the critical path is 1, 3, 4, and 5, how did you arrive at that? We want to know. Yes, 1, 3, 4, and 5.
I would like to apologize on our behalf.
Oh, you don't have to. We are sharing ideas, so we want to know how you came about that.
There's no way we can arrive at that. There's no way. Because there's no path through that direction. So
Eh, okay, so we all agree it is 1, 2, 4, and 5. So what would be the total duration for the tax?
11.
11. And what will be the slack time?
1.
1. Awesome. Hey, who spoke?
Elvis.
Elvis. Okay. So, Elvis, please, for this critical part, you be my TA, so that with all those who don't get it, they'll come and see Elvis for briefing. Don't charge
And
them,
please
please.
check the chat box. I shared something there as well.
Oh, okay. 5, 3, 2, 1. Angelina.
By that instance, you're not using it as judicial notice. You may be using it
Yeah?
as documenting evidence to establish your case, not necessarily a matter that judicial notice should be taken.
What's going on? Okay, so Angelina, care to explain what we have there? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm now seeing this. Like mostly when I'm presenting, I don't check the chats. I mean the chats box. So, oh, okay. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Then we can proceed. Okay, so let's move to people management. A systems analyst must communicate complex ideas clearly and concisely, translate technical jargon into lame terms, and accurately grasp and address users' needs. So you're not now coming to tell us you need to do optimization, clean the data, um, do what's not, all those IT jargons. This is not where you'd come and then be telling us all of this, because for the most part, most of the managers don't understand. So you have to break it down, and that is your role as a systems analyst. Then people management also involves navigating team dynamics. Okay, fostering effective collaboration is critical. Nurturing growth in a team is about creating opportunities for learning and development. You have to foster a culture of feedback and then continuous improvement so that you'll be able to, work well with your team, manage the team properly. For the most part, everybody is an expert on their own, okay? Everybody on this page or platform is an expert on their own. So if we are all coming together to work on a project, the expertise each and everyone will bring will be different. And that's why, as a systems analyst, you should be privy to receiving feedbacks. And you don't have to think you are the only one with knowledge in your head. Okay. Somebody's procedure that would be suggested may go a long way to, help, or maybe better than something else. Okay. Effective people management means recognizing the disruptive nature of change and providing support during transitions. It can involve communicating what the change entails and why it is necessary, depending on the project you are working on. Trust is also fundamental when it comes to people management. When people feel trusted, they tend to become more committed, okay, and they are willing to take up more challenges rather than just, ordering them here and there and all of that. They would rather be working because they are scared of you and not because they want to grow with you or be committed. Now, one thing that happens a lot is miscommunication and misrepresentation of systems requirements. Okay, somebody will say, I want it blue. Probably you don't know if it's the background or the main thing. They just said blue. So you have to ensure that as a system analyst, you understand what the person means by I want it blue. So as to, not miscommunicate to your team or misinterpret what you've been told, and then help, both parties get to whatever they want to arrive at. Regular communication about the project status is essential to keep all team members and stakeholders informed. So every now and then you have to report to each other. Okay, this is how far we've come. This is where we've gotten to. This and this are the things we want to correct or work on moving forward and all of that. So regular communication is also very important when it comes to communications management. Systems projects often involve changes in requirements, design, project scope, etc. So in the event that these things change every now and then in the course of the project, you need to communicate this clearly. Okay. You have to manage the changes in a robust manner. And you can do that with effective communication. Somebody asked earlier that what if you are doing this project and then something changes along the way? Of course, every now and then when you're working on a project, things do change. So you also have to adjust accordingly. But if you're working with a theme, you don't adjust alone and then leave them hanging. You have to communicate with them, let them know the state of the affairs, okay, of the project so that you go about it properly. You build a culture of understanding, respect, and patience within the team. Okay, so you should also be mindful of people's cultural background and language barriers. If you're working with people who are on an international platform or who don't speak your dialect, how do you work on that? How do work with them? I remember there was a time we were working on a Huawei project. Huawei. And then we were not the only team. I think it was about 27 countries. And we were placed in different groups. So and I think they had 3 different stages of the project. We're supposed to build an IT tool or come up with an IT idea or something that could solve a problem, and it should be feasible and financially sound. That means the investment they would make towards that should, be reasonable. It should make sense. So we finished the first stage, we proceeded to the second. And at the third level, because there was a tie between the Ghana group and then what are their names? It's not Chinese. These people, they look like Chinese, but they are not Chinese. Oh, how did I forget their name?
They are Pakistan.
No. But they don't look
The
like Chinese.
Philippines.
Eh?
Korea.
Philippines.
Was it Philippines? No.
Japan.
Moi.
No, but it was one country like that. They are also like the Chinese, but they are not Chinese. They are also in Asia, actually. And so there was a tie, and they wanted to either merge us, but that would have been very difficult because number one, the projects were going to take place in 2 different places. They were ready to fund just one project. And so they did a trial something. How do we even call that? What's the term? When you want to run a trial. Oh, Jesus.
Is it testing?
No, a prototype. Good. So the word is prototype. So they wanted to run a prototype and see how it would work on coming up with a strategy. And it went so bad. Imagine those people speaking English. Like, I'm not laughing at them, but I don't know if you've heard a typical Chinese speaking English or even an Indian speaking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chinglish.
that's kind of accent
Yeah.
and all. Oh, it was some way. So at the end of the day, they awarded them. I was wondering why they awarded them that because our project was very good. And I was the team lead. Acheampong, because the amount of money involved. Anyways, so once you're working on a project, you should also be mindful of the people's cultural, background and language barriers. My current boss in my real estate work is a Nigerian and he hardly speaks Tree. So anytime people come around and, they realize he doesn't understand the language, there's a way you have to go about it so that even if they are insulting him, you don't let him know that they are insulting him. You get that kind of vibe. Okay, so you have to be very mindful. Okay, we also have technology management for systems projects, which has to do with the strategic selection, implementation, and review of the technology resources used throughout the software development lifecycle. Okay. Technology tools can include software for modeling and diagramming, including the NAT charts we mentioned and the PETs and the others you know about already. Okay, so there are tools you can use in collaboration with other things to make your work effective and efficient. Functionality is key because the tools must possess the features required to carry out the intended task. Scalability and cost effectiveness are other considerations when it comes to technology management. Once suitable tools are selected, the implementation phase begins, okay? And it involves acquiring software, installing it, integrating it with existing systems, and configuring it. Regular software updates are also necessary, and then regular security checks and updates are also necessary when it comes to project management. So you have to know the kind of tools you are using, the kind of technological instruments, softwares, hardwares, things you're installing, things you're integrating, optimizing into that particular system you're working. And you also have to check the security functions as well. Now, with all these things, you can't operate until somebody at the top there signs some sort of check for us to, work with. And that's what brings us to financial management. Understanding the economic implications of systems projects can impact projects' outcomes and the overall efficiency of operation. Currently, there might be a rise in fuel increase, as in the amounts, okay, because of economic implications rising from the war going on in the Middle East, right? So you have to understand the economic implications as well. Every project begins with a vision and a budget. Factors to consider may include labor costs. You are going to be paying people. How much are you going to be paying them? So before you charge for a project, you have to take all these things into consideration, okay? Software costs, hardware costs. In case you're supposed to train people or move around training people on something, the requirements it comes with, sika maintenance costs, l'argent, potential cost overruns, more money, and money. Okay, so you have to consider this. Investing in technology includes procuring the latest software for design analysis. You have to, once in a while, upgrade your hardware to support new applications, even with your phones, iOS, and then what's it called? Android. There's a constant upgrading in their iOS or the operating system every now and then. And so if your phone is not at a particular level, at a point in time, you will not be able to download some of their apps and things you need to on the phone to be able to use them. So every now and then you have to invest in the latest software on the markets. Okay, and you also have to think of maintaining a robust technological infrastructure. Investing in skills could involve structured training programs, workshop, seminars, or encouraging self-paced online learning. All these are money. Like there are so many short courses you can do, the certifications and all these things. They don't come cheap. So you have to think about that. Leaders should weigh the projected benefits of the proposed system against the projected costs. So once they do that, they are able to see whether, well, if we pay 100,000 for the new system we need, it will probably do us more good than harm, or we may not be able to afford it. Okay. A practical return on investment analysis clarifies the new system's value to the organization. So in this case, you are checking the amount I'm investing, will I get the returns, or I'll be at a loss? I'm sure you know about profit and loss. And you know, no company or project. Search Wafia. Your hand is up.
Madam, so I just want to ask a question. Like within the project management team, all these departments have their own managers, right?
Well, it depends on the company you are working with.
The people management with the financial management person handles all these responsibilities.
It depends on where you are working and the project you are working on. So when we started, I asked, have you managed a project before? And some came with their own example. Imagine you are managing, like somebody else said, the birthday. Would you need financial manager, technology manager, and all of those things? So it depends on the project. If the project scope is big, then we are looking at people with the ability or capability to work in those fields. Okay. Please, do you get the whole thing?
Yes,
Hello.
please.
Good. So it depends. It depends. But as a systems analyst, yours is to know that with any project I'm working on, chances are I may need financial management, I will need technological management. You should know these things. Because at the end of the day, you are the one at the forefront on that system you want to analyze, right? So it's easy for you to communicate with the project manager. Oh, okay, this and this is not going well. We need tools for this. We need to buy new equipment. We need to invest in this rather. We need to purchase the software. And if you are purchasing the software, what do you see? The financial manager. If you are purchasing a new technological device or something, you are looking at the tech manager or the IT manager there. So you discuss with them. Then you let the person know, okay, this and these are the reasons why we need these equipments or tools or software for this and this and this. Please, do you get it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Then we also have risk management. Name a single IT project you know that is without risk. Even if there is no risk at all, there may be doomsday in Ghana. Right? So every IT project involves risk, constraints, okay? And you as a system analyst and project managers must address these needs. Okay. And when we say risk, we are talking about an event that could affect the project negatively. And that is why we have risk management. So it basically helps identify, assess, and prioritize uncertainties that could impact the achievements of project objectives. And it's essential for reducing uncertainty, improving project planning and control, and then enhancing stakeholder confidence, mitigating potential losses, and then facilitating decision making. So risk could arise from many sources, such as technological complexities. It could involve stakeholder requirements. It could involve team dynamics, external environmental factors, and inherent system complexity. Okay. So risk management tasks include risk identification, analysis, and then response to it. Risk identification involves systematically identifying possible threats or uncertainties that could hamper the success of the systems analysis and design projects. And then risk identification techniques include the Delphi technique. The Delphi technique is a structured communication method, and it is used to gather expert opinions, so that one can reach a consensus. So it mostly involves multiple rounds of anonymous feedbacks. You put this in place and then you ask for feedbacks, and people will give you their feedbacks anonymously. And based on the feedbacks you receive, you are able to use that to forecast or assess or make an assessment so that you can arrive at a decision. We also have the SWOT analysis, which we looked at last week, and we have risk breakdown structures. Now, when it comes to risk analysis, we have the qualitative risk analysis, and it basically evaluates the degree of impact in scope and quality. Then we have the quantitative, which measures the actual impact in terms of time, dollars, or project scope or quality. So the quantitative is talking about specific numbers or figures, and the qualitative is talking about evaluating the degree of impact. The next stage in risk management is creating risk response plan. And these strategies you have to implement include risk avoidance, risk transfer, risk mitigation, and then risk acceptance. So the avoidance, that means what can you do to change the plan or what plan can you implement to eliminate the risk totally? What can you do to avoid the risk totally? Then we have risk transfer. This is when people want to shift the blame on other things. That's the risk transfer. So when you watch these industrial movies, I call them industrial because it's either talking about tech something or business something or law something. You see that these big companies blame everything on probably the insurance, or they look for somebody to carry the blame for them. And then at the back gates, they settle the person. It's not actually a good thing though. But risk transfer has to basically do with shifting the risk to something else or someone else. Somebody doesn't do your work for you, and you go to the person's like, oh, the whole week there's been light out. That's why I've not been able to finish. The person is shifting the risk on something or transferring the risk on something else. Then risk mitigation, basically we want to reduce the likelihood or impact. So if the impact is going to be that we are going to miss or lose 100,000, how about reduce it to losing 10,000? That's a mitigation kind of a risk. And then acceptance, accept the risk is unavoidable and then make something good out of it. Okay. Okay, so this is an example of a Microsoft Excel chart, which indicates the type of risk and shows the probability of impact or the potential impacts. When it comes to risk management plan, it's a summary of the risk identification, analysis, and response activities. So it can include a review of the project scope, a review of the stakeholders, budgets, and any other internal or external factors that might affect the project. Okay. And this plan should address 3 additional areas. It should address the monitoring and control, the roles and responsibility, and then the risk communication. Now, some common risk management issues also include inadequate risk identification, poor risk assessments, where we are not able to analyze what actually caused that, or what the potential risk could be, and then ineffective risk responses. In the event there's a risk, what are the processes that are being outlined to, help mitigate it? Okay. Then we have project management software, which provides a platform for helping to plan, execute, monitor, and then control all the project activities. And some of the project management tools I mentioned earlier, NAT charts, we have the PET, we have the NATA, we have Aptivo, we have Smart Sheets. Those who use Mark 2, I'm sure you're familiar with Monday. It's a project management tool, right? Okay, so all these help in what? Scheduling, resource allocation, progress tracking, and the rest. It also helps you to document, manage risk, monitor and control, and then for tool integration. So project management software includes tools and apps for the following. We already mentioned this: collaboration, document management, issue and backtracking. So you want to track your projects, okay? Project portfolio management, resource management. What are the resources you are using? The hardware, the software, the human capacity. Okay, tax management, time management or tracking, and the like. So at the end of the day, if you're a systems analyst or a project manager, your goal is to achieve whatever you've planned to achieve successfully. And to successfully do that, you have to ensure that your project is being monitored and controlled properly. You are able to manage issues as they rise. And then you adopt an agile mindset to accept changes that will occur as the project proceeds. When a project develops issues, the reasons typically involve business, people, technology, budget, or schedule issues. And so a project manager must be able to do what? Recognize these issues and deal with them effectively. Okay, so the three common business-related problems that may arise are misalignment with business objectives. So I think in one of our classes, we looked at the mission statement of the organization or firm. So at all times, whatever you are working on should align with the business objectives. Okay, and then the return on investments must be justified. Okay, they should know that at the end of the day, when we invest into these projects, we'll get our money back and make some profits. Three common people-related challenges are communication breakdown, resistance to change, and skill gaps. Three technology issues include technological compatibility, rapid technological change, and security and privacy concerns. And then when it comes to budget issues, you're looking at cost overruns, unexpected expenses, and inaccurate financial forecasting. Okay. All right. So most projects experience the following scheduling issues: project delays, overlapping tasks, and underestimating task duration. Sometimes you think, oh, I can finish this in 10 minutes. Before you know, 3 hours, you're still on it. Systems projects often involve complex dynamic requirements. So you always have to have an agile mindset, which will help you and your team adapt to changes during the project. Okay, so don't forget that a systems analyst should understand project management because most information systems are developed as projects. And you as an analyst, you are responsible for helping to plan, coordinate, and monitor the work required to build the system, okay? So you have to understand project management because of this, okay? Any questions, please? Any question? Do we have any question? Okay. Since we don't have any question, what's the time? Okay. Is it because it's time, that's why you don't have any question?
They will know that.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's how we are loaded.
Loaded.
Yes, please.
Loaded as in.
So we'll go back and go through. So the next time we meet, we might have questions.
Oh, okay. That's fine. All right, then. Then we'll end the class here. See you next week, hopefully. I would send your. Please, have you all submitted your assignment?
No, please. We are on the second one, which is loaded.
Hey, well, the assignments are not loaded at all, at all, at all.
Loaded.
They are loaded, madam. They are loaded.
Madam, very loaded.
They are
We are
never
working.
loaded. They are never
There is no
loaded. Yeah,
time.
More
there's
than
no
loaded
time.
price.
Yes, madam. Is it
Other
most of
courses
us are
are also
working,
full
and
time.
The
other
time is
courses also give
limited.
us assignments. And the time we come back from work, wake up the next day. No,
And the
Hey,
it's
time
not
is
easy.
limited.
It's not easy.
hey, this format
Madam,
there.
madam, you have to understand us because
The
go
stress
to
under
work.
which we go through is
Oh,
very.
it's very high.
So
Workload
you're
and
talking to
school.
me as if me, I've never worked in school.
Level
No,
300
madam,
is coming in.
that's
This
not
is
what you are
how
trying to
to
say.
And the time too was limited.
The time, as in how?
Yeah.
And some of us we go to work at 5, come back at 9. Look at
This one
that.
is a different
The time.
style.
Check.
We were doing
Interesting.
one assignment, there another one came in.
So we are just pleading with you because other courses also load us with assignments. So
I see that thing.
yeah.
Okay, I wanted to give you guys an assignment, but let me see. The assignment I want to give you, it's not difficult. Like, if you really look at the assignment I give you, it's just
Madam, we
mostly.
Hey.
So, for example, the assignment I wanted to give you,
Oh, don't give,
your
please.
university plans to introduce a student assignment submission system where students can upload
Hey.
assignments and lectures can grade them online. And you have been appointed as a project team to plan the project. So yours as a project, with the project planning, yours is just to describe the goal of the system. And then you mention the three stakeholders involved in the project. Then under tax management, you tell us two tasks and how you'd, gather them or how you complete it. Then when it comes to risk management, you tell me what are some of the risks you will encounter. So
Ma-
basically, it's not
Madam,
much.
madam,
Madam, the question alone is
No,
about 2
don't
pages
give.
already.
Please wait.
Anywho's, I remember when I was doing my master's, algorithms and data structures lecture. The doctor will come and tell us, me, I didn't ask you to come to school. You brought yourself. So face it squarely. I'll not tell you that, but I'll just encourage you. Just know that it will not stop. You always get assignments. So just brace yourself. It's just 4 years. You're done with almost 2 years and have 2 more years to go. Just brace yourself. Encourage yourself in the Lord. This too will pass. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Madam,
So
we'll do
this
that.
week I'll not give you an assignment, but next week I think we'll
Inshallah.
meet face to face. So when we meet next week, hopefully, if I'm there, I'll definitely give you an assignment. All right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and
All
bye.
right. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Madam, you are more crowd.
Hey. Please, we are still being recorded.